All right, things I like about this Greenworks pressure washer. There's quite a few. The assembly was pretty straightforward, not too complicated. However, I'll explain something later about that. It took me about 45 minutes to put it together, and I was taking time to stop and take pictures, so you could probably do it in 30 minutes. I appreciate any item like this that arrives with no parts missing. So yeah, went together really well. I like the use of the cotter pin on the wheel assembly for easy removal later, which I think I put in one of the photos, but it's right here. I'm a little bit OCD, so I like the fact that on this foam handlebar, the foam part, the handlebar part, the foam is even. It's not like off to one side, because that is really hard to move that stuff. I like the inclusion of this spray wand holder because I have another pressure washer that's gas, and it doesn't have this, so you end up just having to set the pressure washer the spray wand like this, and I always worry about what that's going to do to the tip. Plus, when I was rolling this around my yard today, it stayed on there nice and firm, so that was really good. Let's see, I appreciate the logical placement of the hose and cord holders, both. This was a little challenging to figure out from the diagram how to get it on here, but I did. And then cord holder is down there. So I like it that they're both on the back of the machine. I like the fact that it has multiple tips. Hopefully they can be seen in the video for different uses, including this turbo tip, which is adjustable. I ended up using this turbo nozzle to clean the walkway in my backyard, and it worked great. And I put some photos in that show that. I like the fact that when I'm spraying, the pressure washer is running, and when I stop spraying, it stops. So it just cycles on and off as needed, unlike my gas pressure washer, which stays on all the time and is extremely loud. The hose and the electrical cord are very long. I did not confirm whether the hose is 25 feet and the electrical cord is actually 35 feet, but it sure seemed like it, especially when I was winding it back up. I can confirm that it's quiet, especially compared to my gas pressure washer, and when I'm even just a few feet away from it, even when I'm spraying with it, I could talk with someone if I needed to at a little bit louder than normal conversation. Some things to consider is that the instructions that come with it are very small for someone who wears readers. Some of these diagrams aren't too bad, but still there's a lot of tiny little pieces in there. And for example, I just could not figure this picture out at all, but it was referring to the hose holder. I mean, I knew what it was, but I couldn't figure out what they were explaining. So I just had to figure it out myself. But especially on the quick guide, these diagrams are tiny and just a little hard to see. So you might have to just make sure you have good light. And you don't want to mess up on installation because there's things like when you're putting the wheel together, you want to make sure that this spacer piece is here and not on this side, because that makes a difference, keeping that wheel a little bit away from the frame. Don't over tighten the screws. I got a little too enthusiastic on this one. Oh, you can see that's already coming off. And I'm pretty sure I stripped that out, so now I can't get it tight, and probably going to have a problem with that soap dispenser being knocked off in the future. I did try the surface cleaner on that sidewalk in back, and the sidewalk had moss on it, and it didn't really clean the moss off. I think it's going to work okay for basic cleaning like my deck, but I don't think it was designed for that really tough moss removal, but the turbo tip sure did the job. But it does work, and I'm looking forward to using it on my deck just to to soap and clean the deck. And when I do, I'll update my review. And same for this premium foam cannon. I didn't even try this. This is really heavy, by the way. But I'll be interested to see how this works when I have a reason to use it, and then update my review as well on that. One thing to consider is the length of the spray wand. It's about 32 inches long compared to 36 inches on my gas pressure washer. And for a person my height, about 5'10", it's just a little too short. I felt like I was bending over just a little bit. But the turbo nozzle helps, because once you put that on, it extends it maybe 3 or 4 inches, I'd say. Maybe 2.5 is more accurate. And then, you know, you don't have to be right down next to the ground. You can be a little up, so that does make it long enough. But overall, this is a great unit, and super glad I've got it. And it'll be more convenient than the gas one, which seems to have an issue every spring.